Triple E EDC back again with another knife video. This is the Kayak by Rough Ryder Reserve in the Rough Ryder Reserve series. This is designed by Andy from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, I believe, and he this knife is the second knife in the series of Rough Ryder Reserve. There are 3 knives right now. This is the second knife, and it has this arrowhead logo, or arrowhead shield, I should say. Beautiful, beautiful shield. Let's go ahead and get into some size comparisons of this knife, and let's go ahead and pull it all the way out for some size comparisons. What you should pay attention to for this purpose of size comparison, because this is 2 blades, is really this handle to this or this handle to this, so that you can get an idea of how big this thing is. So this is the Benchmade Proper. So as you can see, the blades are going to be smaller than the Benchmade Proper. This is the GEC oil field jack. So again, this is not a huge knife, when only one of the blades is deployed. When one of the blades is deployed, it's actually a pretty small knife, and that the same is true even if you flip it and go to the other side, still a small knife. So let's go ahead and look at some other mainstays. Here's a Benchmade 940. Here is a Benchmade Bugout. Here is a Spyderco Chaparral, even smaller than the Chaparral. Here is a Native 5, Spyderco Native 5. And let's go ahead and do a Para 3. We don't need to put up a Para 2 because this is much smaller than the Para 3. So you can see it's definitely going to be way smaller than the Para 2. Well, I want to show off my Para 2, so let's go ahead and throw it up anyway. Paramilitary 2, Para 3. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about this knife. So the good and the bad of this knife. First of all, this is, I believe, $50 in the Rough Ryder Reserve series. I believe the single blade knife is $40, the double blade knife is $50, and the triple blade knife is $60, if I remember right. Now, this has a beautiful shield here. This arrowhead shield really pays homage to the founder of Smoky Mountain Knife Works, who was a huge, I guess, Native American, memorabilia, not necessarily memorabilia. I'm talking about the found items. The name is escaping me, but artifacts. There you go. He was a very big collector of Native American artifacts, and this definitely pays homage to it with that arrowhead. It definitely has that Smoky Mountain Knife Works, that Rough Ryder pull here. I believe it's not made by the same manufacturer that they sourced for their other knives. The Reserve is made by a different manufacturer. They haven't named who that is, but I can say that the pull on these is awesome. It is probably an 8. I mean, this is, I know when I opened these up, I said the pull on them was probably a little bit less than that, but man, these got, either these got stiffer or I just wasn't paying attention in that first video. These are probably, about a 7 to an 8 pull on these. Really, really beautiful. Polished nickel bolsters. You got the brass liners here, which outline the 2 back springs. You've got pretty decent stock. It's not a thin stock. It's not a thick stock. It's just a good size stock here for these knives. You have a true Wharncliffe blade here, right here, which is great for piercing. I shouldn't say piercing, which is great for those types of tasks where you need to do fine detail work with a tip. This is absolutely, beautiful for that type of stuff. Cutting open packages, things like that. This is going to be perfect. It passes Ben's finger length test, so it's going to give you great control over that point. Beautiful, beautiful control over that point. Love that blade shape. It also has kind of a sheep's foot style blade, where it's very similar to the Wharncliffe, but there is a little bit of belly on there, which you can see if you, let's see if I can find something flat. So here is a Reed cutlery box And if we put this flat on here, you can see there is a bit of belly on there once you get to the nail nick, and that is a beautiful thing. This is match strike nail nicks, which are very cool. The reason they call them match strike nail nicks are there was a time, if you've ever seen those old videos where people strike matches on their beard, you can't do that with today's matches, you know, striking on the stubble, striking on these things. I don't think that would work with today's matches. They used to have these matches that you could strike on pretty much anything way back in the day. And so they created these because it created some, it gave another use to knives, having a nail nick that had a match strike surface in it. So it pays homage to the old style knives. I love the pin construction here. I do prefer on my knives to have a Torx construction, but this is not a modern slip joint. This is a modern slip joint. I like the pin construction on this one because this is not intended to be modern. It's intended to be a throwback to earlier times and to classic design elements of the slip joints. So the Kayak design, that pattern, I should say, is Andy's baby, and I like this thing. I guess the reason they call it the Kayak is because it looks like a kayak, you know, that little curve up here, and then you've got, you know, the sides of the kayak here, and you have, I guess this is, you know, it's almost like this is the lip of the kayak if someone's standing in here, and then it runs down here. So I think this is pretty cool. I like the pattern a lot. The micarta on here, I tried this and the denim micarta on the Rough Rider 1, the first reserve knife. Forgot what that one's called, but I like the micarta on this one better. It's just a beautiful, beautiful micarta. Let's see if I can capture it on camera here. It is very polished, but not quite as polished as some Bark River micartas, but this is a beautiful micarta on there as well. Like I said, price on there, $50. Sorry guys, it's getting late. $50, and I think that's a pretty good price for this. This is not quite the quality of GEC. This thing ran a little over 100. So it's not quite the quality of GEC, but it is very, very high-end quality. GEC uses 1095 steel. This is D2. So the steel on this is actually pretty impressive for the price point. I know D2 has been used for a long time on folding knives, but I haven't seen it used that much on slip joints, and it's kind of cool to see it on a slip joint, especially at the budget range. D2 is a huge step up from the 440A that Rough Rider uses on most of their knives, so I'm glad to see this Rough Rider Reserve series. Honestly, I don't have a lot of bad to say about this knife. I will have more negatives, I think, to say about the first knife, but the blue denim one, there was a couple of aspects of it that were disappointing. Overall, I think that one's good, but there were a couple of aspects. Watch out for that video. But I do like this one very much. I'm doing this one first on review because this one is going out to Mark Goldstein as a thank you. Mark has been sending knives to the channel for review for quite a while, asking nothing in return. He's also sold a couple knives to me. He's bought a couple knives from me, and he's been a great friend of the channel. So just as a thank you, I'm going to go ahead and give him this knife. You know, Mark, I really appreciate you, and you know, hope we continue talking as the years go on. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments section. Hit the like button, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell so you get all my content, and go ahead and drop a comment and let me know if you've tried these, if you like it, and what you think of the new Rough Rider Reserve series. Thanks so much.